shit at the pilot.
He stepped up his head.
Niggas be broken, be sober, but still talking shit like
And he
they
fumbles the football at the
They say that
Eagles
they
have
got
it.
some money, these niggas gon' say that they got it.
Oh my God.
Get out
To
with the
right
key to
field.
success and these niggas gon' blame it on talent. They don't wanna see you win. They don't wanna see the race. You don't wanna see a bitch caught up in the stars like she out of space. Mention that they kinda at the mention and I'm running out of space.
Welcome to another episode of the City of Brotherly Love Sportscast. After 2 weeks, we hope everybody had a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, holidays, enjoyed it. We took 1 week off, spent the time with our families, really had a good time, and now we're trying to get back into the groove. One thing that we want to hit real quick is the merch. We finally got a setup on the shirts, Heart of Philly, a little combination we got going here. Depending how much feedback we get back from them, maybe we're going to try and make some for some people. So let us know if you think you want one or what you think we can make it better to look a little better, different design, something like that. Just let us know. So getting straight into it, I mean, one thing we're gonna spend a little bit of time on, but not too much because it's the off season. But we're gonna get more into it later on. Is we'll talk a little bit about the Eagles' final 2 games and where we think we're gonna get into. Basically into going into next season.
Yeah.
So getting into it, so we saw them, they lost 37-17 to the Cowboys, and then, the 20-14 loss to the Redskins with the tanking issues. So before we get into the whole tanking issue, I think that'll be the one thing that we'll touch on a little bit. But what'd you pull from those last 2 games, just on a side note of player-wise, I guess?
You can't be comfortable. Nobody. You can't be a serious fan and say you're comfortable with Jalen Hurts being your franchise guy and trading Carson Wentz away. Mm-hmm. If you're saying that, you're lying to yourself. Even if you hate the guy, you're lying to yourself. And this isn't all about Wentz and making this whole thing about Wentz. No, that's serious. There's serious concerns with Hurts. I don't care what anybody says. Outside the first game and then the Cardinals game, he looked good for a half. Had a really special half, but he didn't look good for second half of the Cardinals game. Same thing happened Cowboys week. He played 1 good quarter in the Cowboys week. And he was ass again for 3 quarters. And then he had 2 rushing touchdowns, maybe made a couple nice reads in the Redskins game. He threw an interception. That was early. His arm trend's dookie. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And people can say what they want about the tank, and we'll get into that, like we said. But he was, 7 for 20 or 7 for 22 for 70 yards? Yeah, you can talk about running, but what's the main object? The QB's job is to win games primarily, but they're there to facilitate. They're there to make plays with their arm. We don't need another running back. We need someone who's going to manage the game correctly and win games. You saw people were complaining that Doug went for it on 4th and 5?
Yeah.
On the 15 or something like that. And Quez Watkins was wide open in the end zone. And
Jalen Hurts just missed him.
He underthrew him completely. The offenses look better at times with him, but it seems like teams have him. You could say Doug, because we can make the same excuses for him and say Doug, like we do with some of us say for Carson, but not everybody says that. Or you can say he's looking good at one moment with Doug, and then he's looking completely horrible next. You know what I mean? It's like Jekyll and Hyde for the most part. I think he's had a couple decent quarters. His best game was the Saints game, obviously. And the Cardinals game, he was good for 2 quarters. And he was this. So we can't even say it was a really great performance then, too.
So to me, I mean, it really sucks that something that me and you were saying weeks ago about Doug, it took until a tanking issue for people to realize the decision-making, the questionable that he has that we've been saying for the whole year. You know what I mean? And, I mean, the Doug obviously is to blame, but, so shout out Emmanuel Acho he has a talk show called Speak for Yourself. He put in he put this drive thing together for Jalen Hurts' last 20 drives of the season. And I think it was the last 11 drives of the Cowboys game and the first 9 drives of the Redskins game. He only put 17 team points. He was 44% passing, 3 interceptions, no TDs, a fumble, and a 41.2 passer rating. He went 25 for 56. He was terrible. That's you can't even make. Well, I think he had maybe 2 rushing touchdowns at the beginning of the Redskins game, and that was it.
You know what's funny about it all too is like you'll argue with people and they'll be like, "Well, he's a rookie," but okay, you said he looked like a vet in 2 of the games, and now you're saying he looks like a rookie. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. Herbert hit a little bit of a wall, but he was good every week, just about.
Yeah.
Tua, he's had some moments because I don't know what the hell Flores is doing down there, like pulling him for like game-winning drives and stuff. Like you got to
Splitting games with Fitzpatrick and
yeah,
stuff.
you don't do. But overall, Tua's been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other one?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. He gave that franchise life. And people didn't think, even though he was the consensus number 1 pick, a lot of people didn't think Joe Burrow was going to be anything, specifically because the whole offense was crazy last year.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody has to make that offense go, and he gave the Bengals a newfound hope. They might seriously be contenders eventually. You know what I mean? So
just hopefully he can come back from the injury.
There was a reason Hurts was projected to go where he went. But overall, if you look at college play, a lot of people saw him in college. A lot of people liked him out of college, and he posted just as good as numbers, or if not better numbers than a lot of those QBs outside Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no excuse for it. You can say he's a rookie, but I'm watching other rookie QBs all around the league ball the fuck out week in, week out.
They just, I mean, people finally realized that the same thing that killed Wentz were finally killing Hurts in those final few games, which is lack of weapons, no fluidity on the offense due to injuries, everything like that, and just self mistakes over and over again.
I'm not gonna sit here and completely rip the kid, but I said it though, even before I said it's not these 4 games. I can't judge him off of completely. I can't say whether he did really good. I couldn't get that. If he did really good, it still wasn't enough for me. Unless we got the playoffs and he played a playoff game, that would have been enough for me, which would have happened if he played really good. I mean, the team at points could have played better too, but overall, defense had more turnovers, gave him better field position a couple of times. Second half, they just didn't come through. But I don't want to be too much of a hypocrite because I am bashing him a little bit. But I'm just saying to the people that sit there and say he's a rookie, you're sitting here. We don't make these excuses for Herbert. We don't make these excuses for Tua. Tua just missed the playoffs 10-6. That sucks. But we don't make excuses for him, and we don't make excuses for Burrow. It's crazy.
Yeah, I personally wish that there was a way that we could honestly just have Wentz and Hurts both, to be honest, because they both bring different facets to the game. I know you don't have both, but at this point, if you keep Wentz, you're also going to have Hurts, and having him there, they're going to keep him incorporated into the game plan. You know what I mean?
Yep. And
there's no way that they're trading their rookie contract like that. So it's just if you keep Wentz, you're keeping both.
I mean, if they did keep Wentz though, and everybody's as high as on Hurts because people around the league were blowing him up. People are like, he's better than Wentz, or people are saying he's this good, or we would have won the game if you kept him in, which isn't true. You're talking about, maybe you can get out. You can either probably get that second overall pick back and maybe more. I don't know because, you might have that value now. Whether people want to, I don't know. I don't think he should have that value, but the way he gets hyped up right now and the media attention, you could maybe even get a first, or you could probably at least get a second, and maybe I don't know, it could be a fourth, it could be a fifth, something. Could probably get something for him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of GMs are high on Wentz as well, so that's why they're gonna have a lot of interest in him too. So
that's what Shefty was saying. There was already been teams interested. Shefty said, they're not
with Indy standing out.
For what rumors came out, he said there's been teams that already they're trying to figure out what went wrong with Carson, or look at the tape and see what is wrong, see if it's fixable. Now, I believe most teams are going to think it's fixable because there's going to be teams in on him.
Absolutely.
There's a few that, he might not be as good if he goes there, but there's a few where if he does go there, it's going to be pretty scary.
So, with that, we know that's going to be probably the biggest topic of the offseason, most likely, what we do at quarterback. But outside of that, there's a lot of other issues on this team, like wide receiver, cornerback, and linebacker. So, obviously, we have the 6th pick. So, where do you think – obviously, we had the tank – the so-called tank to get that 6th pick. Where do you see us – what do you see us doing with that? Or what do you think we need to do outside of the draft as well as free agency and things like that to kind of make those needs filled a little bit better than they are now?
I think I mentioned it on here, and you texted me about it today, though. or yesterday, whatever one it was about Allen Robinson, because he's a free agent. I'm pretty sure I mentioned on here, though, I said if we weren't in cap hell, I would love to add A-Rob. That's my guy. But that way you could draft a Patrick Surtain Jr. or the
Caleb Farley
from personally, he's high rated, but he doesn't play in the SEC.
from Virginia Tech, yeah.
Yeah, I want an SEC player. I'm not trying to be that guy, but
No, yeah, I get that.
And Surtain Jr. just seems unreal to me, honestly. But
game changer.
If Howie was just good, we wouldn't be in this mess all along. You could have, if you took Justin Jefferson last year, you wouldn't be talking about potentially taking a receiver this year, or maybe you still do. Hell, you could, but there's no need. And I think if you're going to keep Carson, and I'm honestly confident Carson still beats Jalen out 9 times out of 10 in an open competition. I think arm strength, he's bigger, he's taller, and yeah, his accuracy, he still is more accurate than Jalen, even when he was playing bad. I mean, Jalen's a rookie, can work on that. But there's things they can do, I think, and if they maybe fix the offense for him, maybe bring in another offensive mind. Doug doesn't necessarily have to relinquish the play call, but bring someone in here who's willing to work with him if you repair the relationship. And I would be for taking a wide receiver. I personally want Devontae Smith. I'll take Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is, I think, 2 years younger, too. So I'm all for that, too. I like Devontae Smith more. There's a little bit of bias there because I like Bama, but I just think the kid's unreal. I said it last year. I said he was the best receiver on Bama last year. I said that. I said he's better than Judy. He's better than Ruggs. And Waddle's there, too, but he's not going.
He's not going to get late
first round. But I'm saying, no, they had all 4 of those receivers at one point. And I was like, this kid's the best out of all of them. So, but if they're not taking him, I want Surtain. And you lock up that other side of the field. You got 2 corners, and you can fluctuate. And I don't know what you do on the offensive side, though. I don't know if you have cap room to play with. You're gonna be cutting guys or getting rid of Malik Jackson. You're gonna be getting rid of Alshon. Thank the fucking Lord on that one. I hate that dude. Honestly, they're not getting rid of Jake Elliott, but I'm for cutting that dude.
Yeah. So, personally, I think you can't go wrong if you're able to go Chase or Smith, obviously. I think Chase might be a little more NFL ready, right now. But I think Barrow might be in the Cincy's ear a little bit, trying to get him as his number 1 receiver in college. So who knows? But to me personally, I think grabbing Surtain or grabbing Parsons is, in my opinion, the top thing that they need to do, due to the fact that it's a good wide receiver free agency this year. So if you can grab Surtain or Parsons, I think their immediate impacts, their starters off the bat. And I mean, pairing Slay up with Surtain would be unbelievable. And then having Parsons and then the upcoming of Singleton playing better than anybody thought he would this year. You have a duo at one of the positions that you can rely on that we weren't able to rely on in previous seasons. So I think there's a lot of different directions. They're going to have a shot at somebody at 6. And to be honest with you, say everybody goes and Sewell drops, the offensive tackle, I'm also not against that either.
I'm for taking him instantly.
Yeah, so if he's there, you have to be due to the fact that the whole O-line's aging. So it's an opportunity. If you have an opportunity given to you and everybody else is gone.
The only part of the O-line that might be any decent, well, the right side will be decent next year, hopefully, if Lane and Brandon comes back very healthy, which he's going to. But you don't know what Kelsey had. Kelsey, I feel like, is probably retiring. And then you got – hopefully Dillard can play left guard. If Dillard can play left guard, it's a win. If he can do it way better than Sayamalu. And Sayamalu might be the center, but Mailata, I think, has to be your left tackle. He played good for a guy who's never played football a day in his life until he came to the Eagles 3 years ago. So
I completely agree. So, I mean, I think real quick, let's just throw our little opinions in on what you think of the whole tank. Were you for it? Were you against it? What?
Me. I was for it. I said I want the higher pick. I have a picture on my phone that shows, and the stats don't lie to the analytics. I'm not a big analytics guy. Don't lie for the difference between the 6th and 9th pick. Oh, yeah. Especially the last few years, it really doesn't lie. And, people are like, well, hell, he's making a pick. This is less of a chance of Howie fucking it up unless Howie goes out there and takes a who player like Marcus Smith. If he goes out there and does something like that, his job's he's probably gone next year, hopefully then.
Yeah.
Which would be a blessing, but no. He can't mess his pick up. There's everybody's that is projected 1 through 6 or 1 through 8 is like should be a lock. Dude, you can't go wrong. He can't mess it up. You can go
Absolutely.
You can go linebacker if he's there. You can go tackle if he's there. They aren't, but I've said this. They can go QB if they want it, if they really want to rebuild all the way. And you can go receiver. You can literally do anything you want, any way you want. You can trade back, which I don't want him to do because I wouldn't even trust him trading back and making the right pick later. Watch, he's going to do that. He's going to fucking trade the 6th pick. Which
I can 100% see it happening.
Tanking would have been for that reason, but I liked it, first of all. Second of all, the people – I got something for the people. So you can say basketball and football aren't the same. Like I know Jason Kelsey had a speech a few weeks ago saying this isn't basketball where one guy makes you an instant contender. False. Basketball, you don't draft a guy right away, and you're not instantly. You might be one step closer, but show me a time where you're adding a guy in basketball and you're instantly contending right away. You might be in playoffs, but half those times you ain't winning a chip anytime soon. Look how long it took the Warriors when they drafted all their guys. You know what I mean? I mean, they got like Steph, Clay, and Draymond. What was it, all in the same draft? Or Steph in the same draft and Draymond back to back? I mean, those were a little later. I think Steph was in the top 10. Clay was like 13.
Yeah.
But it's just a point. Like, it takes a while for a young guy in that sport to groom.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, football, I get it. 52-man roster. It's the ultimate team sport. But I get it can ruin the morale in the locker room. Seems like it possibly did. But Hurts knew Sudfeld was coming in potentially. And your benching wasn't like invalid. It was validated. Like you were playing bad. Mm-hmm. The same reason Carson got benched, you just got benched.
Absolutely.
And we pay Nate Sudfeld $2 million. You might as well play him. You pay a guy $2 million that just sat inactive the whole year. You might as well throw him out there and let him throw a few balls.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in the playoffs. What's the point of winning, first of all? Second of all, the people that talk about like it's a mockery of the sport, it's this and that. What about the same people? You let Big Ben still in the league after rape accusations. Most people think he did it. You let Antonio Brown, that clown, back in the league. You let Tyreek Hill back in the league. You let Kareem Hunt back in the league. The only guy who hasn't been back in the league since an incident has happened is Ray Rice. And people want to sit here and talk about, oh, it's all about the game and the respect for it and this and that. Where did it go? It's a mockery of the game. Shut up. No, it's not. I'm tired of that shit. I can't tell you how much sports talk and just like people all over the world have been making a big deal out of this. It's not that big a deal. There's 2 reasons why it's a big deal. 1, we're Philadelphia. 2, because it was on prime time and the game should have never been flexed to prime time. Who wants to watch a 6-9 dookie ass Redskins team and a 4-10
and 1
11-1 Eagles team that's complete garbage? Nobody wants to watch that on prime time. Nobody. And
Agreed.
Giants fans and the Giants players, you all want to complain. You started off the season 1-7 and finished 6-10. Maybe if Daniel Jones didn't trip over his own shoelaces, and maybe if Evan Ingram didn't drop a ball, you guys would have been in playoffs. Stop bitching. I know that one Giants fan. I don't know if he's listening. The dude who comment on our YouTube. That's for you, bro, because I'm sure you're complaining, I bet.
Oh, yeah, my boy Payne, he big dumb. He said, leave me alone. He big mad. I hope he hears this too. But, I'm definitely was all for the tank, 100%. But let's bounce off the Eagles. We'll bounce to the real city team that's giving us some positive hope right now. They're starting off, they're 6-1 now. They beat teams in the likes of people saying that they beat nobody, but at the time they beat the undefeated Magic. They beat the Hornets twice and Knicks and Wizards. The big thing right now is that they lost to the Cavs, but they lost to the Cavs they beat the Raptors as well, which they're definitely down. They don't have a win yet on the season, but they're still the Raptors.
They have like one or two. They're like 2-5 or something.
Okay,
they're just not getting lucky.
So Joel Embiid himself is 6-0 though, and
yes, sir.
Within the next 10 days, we're going to really find out what this team's really all about. They get the Wizards again tonight. They get the Nets, the Nuggets, the Hawks, and then the Heat twice back to back, home and away, or home and home, I think. But not that it matters. So they'll really show us what they're made of. They've been playing really well. The shooting is increasingly better. Like guys like Seth Curry shooting 54% from three. Tobias is up to 52% just from the field, and I think 47% from three. So like Tobias definitely came around after the first two games.
Danny stepped up too. He had a couple like 10-point plus games.
Yeah.
But the one game, was it the first Hornets game? He started off like 4 or 5 from three, or 3 or 4 from three. That man was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
My God. But
so right now they have us ranked third in the power rankings.
And Toby, like I said, he's the X factor in all this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people gonna say we're playing bad teams, but you know what? We're a new team, a completely new, fresh team. The only players outside like a couple guys, it's like Ben, your big three. Well, our big three technically, Ben, Toby, and B. They're the guys that's been here. But now you add shooters, you add guys that they never played with.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Shake, who's still young. He's in the role he should be in. And then you got Maxey. You got Dwight. Love Dwight. Oh, my God.
Love that addition.
And, Matisse really isn't doing much with his time. I don't think
his defense is still there, though. His defense is still there.
His offense definitely needs to come, though. We could use that.
Completely agree.
You're playing bad teams, but my thing is they can say we're playing bad teams, but if this was a Brett Brown team, we probably win these games by 1-2 points, maybe drop a game, maybe drop 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're blowing teams out. Their shooting's coming around. They're getting open looks. You're seeing what the spacing on the floor is like right now. The ball movement's crazy. Even the second unit chemistry is there, man.
Yeah. So their offense their offense definitely still needs work. Right now, their biggest thing is we're the number 1 rated defense in the NBA. We're only allowing 101 points per game. I think the Suns are also allowing 101. I think it's like 101.7 to 101.8 or some shit like that. It's real close, but the defense is there. Like I think they're averaging about like 10 steals per game or something like that. Like something crazy, but that's the defense. Everybody on the team, Tobias, Joel, I think it was Tobias, Joel, Seth, and Ben are all in the top 10 for defensive rating in the first 7 games of the season in all of the NBA. So when 4 of your 5 starters are in the top 10 defensive rating, like that's unbelievable. That's defensive. That's a defense that we haven't seen in a long time on this Philly team. And outside of Ben and Joel themselves, outside of that, we never really had anybody like that.
Yeah, it's a nice luxury. And they play the Nets tomorrow.
No KD.
I was about to say, I don't know if it's ever official or what. No KD. It is what it is. The Nets just blew out the Jazz last night. Jazz is a good team out in the West. You know, they're usually like a top 4 or 5 team out there. They're good defensively. They can kind of shoot the ball a little bit, but they blew them out without KD. I think they might beat them by like 30 or something like that. And I mean, the Nets still have a lot of good players. So
yeah,
still a tough test tomorrow. It's not the same without KD, but it's still a tough test. And we're gonna see KD eventually this year. So
absolutely, we'll definitely see him. I mean, they'll definitely be a playoff team. We have I think we compare. We match up with them really well. I think, especially with Dinwiddie not coming off the bench now, and that's pushing LeVert to start every game. I think Shake and like Mike Scott and Dwight match up a lot better with their bench now than our bench does. But I mean, especially with them, Jared Allen looks like he's taken the next step as well. Man. He's been big for them. I think he dropped the 2020 game last night. So
his offense hasn't always been there either. So
I mean, obviously his defense has always been there. We know that because he's 7 foot, but I think they'll get there. He
blocks everybody.
Yeah. So I mean, there's not much where you can really touch on the Sixers besides for that. We know how they're playing. We can talk stats.
I was about to say something else about them. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about like the scariest teams at first. Like I wasn't like ignoring them, but the Bucks are kind of scary.
Yeah, they're looking.
They always are. They're always your main worry. But when I was talking to bro, he was like, you got like Giannis, who he's gonna guard Ben and he's gonna lock Ben up. They're probably gonna guard each other, but Giannis is gonna have a way better game than Ben 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And you had Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's all defensive. He's a beast, and he can shoot the shit out of the ball. He's probably the most underrated, arguably the most underrated player in the league. And they still got Middleton. Middleton, I only peep their scores every once in a while, but the 2 games I peeped, he dropped like 30 each game. So he's been balling.
He's still their shooter.
DiVincenzo's hitting threes. So I don't know. Their squad might scare me the most. Like I said, I think the Nets come out of the East or whatever. That was our prediction back a while ago, but might be switching that halfway through. I don't know yet.
Yeah, they started off really slow, but they've got on a roll now. I think they're back up to like the 8th seed at the moment, but it's too tight right now. That doesn't really mean anything. But
thank God they didn't get bogged down.
I know he's a little pissed off, and a report came out saying he's mad at the Pacers, right, for the way that went out, or the Kings. He's mad at the Kings. Got that mixed up. But one topic to mention. Flyers start back up Wednesday, January 19th, 2021. They play the Penguins in back-to-back home games Wednesday, Friday. I think they start the season with 4 home games against the Pens and the Sabres. 4 games at 2 each, I think. And pretty pumped for that, man. Let's see what they can. I'm excited to see if they can show us so they can remain a contender.
It would be nice to start off the season with a sweep. Wishful thinking, because there's a lot of unknowns with Pitt. I feel like you still got Crosby. Never roll that guy. Never ever count that dude out. Still got Malkin.
It's not football. Anybody can win like any night.
Yeah, so. Kuznetsov. They got Kuznetsov, and their biggest question mark is Tristan Jerry, who came in and was goaltender for them last year. I don't think they really played him in playoffs, though. I don't know why, because when they did start to play him in that like knockout round type thing, he played better than Murray, and he was playing better than Murray in the regular season. And then they got Murray walked free agency, so now we'll see like how Jerry is. I know he's good, but how good?
The Pens are definitely like that unknown, kind of like the Nets were for NBA at first for us, because we didn't really understand how they were going to play together. But then the Pens are just, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. I think we don't have much that we can talk about them, but as it gets closer, we're going to pipe them up a little bit.
Patrick finally cleared for contact, finally practicing. He took a big hit today from Warren. I know you don't want your players taking big hits like that, but he said he had a little residual, or however that word's pronounced, and I think he was a little slow at first getting back up, but then he was good skating, getting right back into it. They said he took the hit fine, said no headache, no effects with it really. So that's positive, dude.
I saw Ghost came out and said that he's ready. He thinks he's gonna have the best year he's ever had. So if that's true, that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. You got Ghost like prodigy down the farm with Cam York.
Like we were saying, Cam York and Bobby Brink. They just won the gold medal for the USA junior team.
Yeah, man.
So that's pretty big. Cam York was the captain, so trust me, that farm's looking good.
Yeah, hopefully it stays that way, dude.
Them young guns. So I think one thing. So obviously we're gonna because it's the new year. This is our kind of what we're gonna call our New Year's episode. We're gonna get a little bit into kind of what we expect from our Philly teams in 2021. I think we'll do a little bit of Super Bowl stuff, but I think first thing I want to touch on is something we were going to do last week before we had to cancel the episode. Was me and Blake kind of we talked about a little bit of what our best and worst moments from 2021 was, or from 2020 was. And to me, I think the best moment of 2020 we can agree on is obviously the Oscar Lindblom story.
Yeah, it's a great
That's
moment.
Easily, less than a year after being diagnosed with Ewing's sarcoma, the dude fucking comes out, returns Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, cancer-free, and he looked like he wasn't as good, but
he didn't have a ton of ice time, too. He maybe, why everybody else had, 20 minutes, he had, maybe 7, 10, if that.
So just that story's unbelievable.
Look good at moments, almost scored a couple times here and there, had chances, but he'll be better this year, I feel like. He'll be a lot more fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think for me, I had a few worst moments in Philly sports this year. Definitely, I mean, between Sixers getting swept 0-4, Flyers Game 7 loss, Phillies missing the playoffs for the 9th season in a row, the Phillies bullpen. There's just a lot of moments that we can say was the worst moment of 2020, but it was a pretty shitty year in all for everybody. So can't really pick one specifically. I don't know. What about you for that?
I don't know, dude. The Eagles sucking. That's really what brought me down. Yeah, like I mean, there's some bad moments, but it was really just like going into a hole. The whole season was a disappointment. You know, the Sixers with the bubble. I mean, Embiid balled out, but they didn't have Ben, so they got swept. Flyers, I had high expectations because I just for some reason thought they were going to win off the Lindblom story. You know, teams do that shit. It happens in sports all the time. They came back from 3-1 and they just lay a dud in Game 7. I was probably never more heartbroken in my life.
Yeah.
And then the Phillies, there's just nothing to even mention. Like, not even them missing playoffs. Like, the fact that we're probably not even re-signed. Well, I think we will now, but not
I
even
mean, shout
re-signed.
out one signing, Jose Alvarado. I like that.
Yeah, that was a great addition.
Good little trade. But so then easily, I mean, obviously what's going on the outside of sports is different with everything that's going on now, everything that we see happen in the world. Hopefully 2021 is a better year for everybody inside and outside of sports, specifically for everybody, their families, everything that's going on. And then hopefully Philly sports are on the rise a little bit in 2021. One thing that I want to just Sixers have pulled me back in. Just these first 7 games, I feel like they like let us go a little bit last year, and then they yanked me right back in. So that's one big thing. And the Phillies signing a Jose Alvarado is going to be nice, but they need to do something else.
Yeah, my guy got some movement. I love him.
Yeah, Hunter hitting 101, nasty.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you seeing from, or what do you expect, I guess, from these teams?
The Sixers, I just hope they get past the second round.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm waiting to still see because, yeah, they look good now. Everything's gelling. I think Morey's not going to make a move, but I don't even think that Harden trade's going to happen, but you never know, especially because their one loss without B showed how impactful he's a team. I know him and Ben complement each other, but I think with Bede at least, you don't get blown out by the Cavs like that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ben needs to step up still. Ben's doing good. He's good defensively. I'm fine with that, but he needs to score more. He takes one spot up 3, and I'm not even watching the game because what was that? That was New Year's Eve, I think.
Yeah, it was.
It was like setting up the tent, and then you text me, you hit the spot up 3, and I'm like, all right, like cool. And yeah, we beat the Magic. Like Bede had 20, Toby had 20, Steph had 20, and then like everybody else scored. So like it wasn't a big deal that he didn't need to score 20, but it would have been nice to see Ben get in on the scoring, especially you think a dude hits a 3, he's going to be aggressive.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me because his shot, dude, it just looks so smooth.
It looks
like,
good.
It's in his head 1,000%, and that's what sucks.
So I mean, with them, I just hope. I'm still waiting to see if they do anything. Still waiting. They're going to give it 15 games. You're going to know. I feel like we already know what this team is. We'll see. We're going to really see. I think we'll probably split those 2 games with the Heat coming up. But
yeah,
I'd like to see them beat both of them. They're not going to win every game they play, but
they don't look very well right now either. The Heat.
Yeah, no, they don't look good.
I think Jimmy Butler's averaging 10 points a game.
Yeah, I think he had 4 his first game. I think he's been up around like 17, 15 area now. He's not looking the same. But yeah, dude, I don't know. We'll see with them. Phillies, I don't even think I have expectations if I'm being real. I really don't. I don't know what to expect. I don't give me JT back, and then maybe we can talk about like maybe making playoffs because I still don't even know what they got at shortstop if they're not. Did DD sign anywhere yet or no?
Nothing, nowhere yet.
Maybe he's waiting to come back to Philly then.
Yeah.
They're both waiting to come back to Philly. I'll take DD right back. That dude was raking last year.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Flyers, tough division. This is going to be a tough year. Like they're all saying, there's going to be blood. You're playing.
Oh, yeah.
division rivals eight times. You have eight teams in there. You're playing
Each team.
8 times just
Yeah.
about. Some teams in other divisions are playing them like 10, some crazy like that.
The
So
Canada team, yeah.
So it's like I
division.
really just hope they make playoffs. I think they're going to be. I think this year is a cup chasing year. Personally, if Nolan stays healthy, knock on wood, love that dude. And he's playing 3C for you because Nate Thompson wasn't that good. He gave you like good. He was like a good vet depth move, but I don't think these young guys need the vets for them anymore. They got their Giroux, Couture's a vet, Kevin Hayes is a vet. All those guys are vets. And their defense, I think their defense is lacking a vet. They need a vet on D personally, but they all been to playoffs now, so they know what it's like. I mean, you could use that vet presence, but it is what it is. So Hart's good. So I think this year could be a cup chasing year. It's going to depend on Lutz again. Lutz just gets better and better every year, though.
He does.
And it's going to depend. I feel like Patrick's going to be a moving piece, and Lindblom's great. They saying last year before he got diagnosed, everybody on the team wanted to play on whatever line Lindblom was on. You don't say that about many guys. And you look at the Flyers, they have talent all throughout. You got your Giroux, you got your Voraceks, you got your Couturiers, you got Hayes now, and they're like, nah, I want to play with Lindblom. That just shows you how good that kid is.
Yeah.
So
just the motivation that he brings and the heart and the energy, things like that.
Yeah. He's a beast. And the Eagles, I don't know what to expect, dude. Honestly.
That's a topic for a long discussion.
Because I don't know how he's going to do with the pick. Should I have faith in him? No. But I have faith he's not going to mess it up and he's going to make the right move and not take like some fucking scrub from TCU over the clear-cut receiver he should take.
Yeah.
AKA Jalen Reagor. I don't care anymore.
I think Jalen Reagor will be a really solid wide receiver too if they were to bring in Chase or Smith.
I'm not gonna say he's a boss, but you even got like the Darnell Moonies of the world out there in Chicago, a 5th-round pick. Dude had like 600 yards. I know he played the whole season, but Nick Foles and Mitch were both dookie this year. Their offense was just as bad, and he put up decent numbers. It's like you look around the league. Why is everybody else's even though he had injuries? Why is everybody else's receivers producing, not this guy?
Not ours. Yeah. I mean, everybody outside of him and Ruggs, I think, were definitely the biggest wrong decisions.
I was about to say Ruggs wasn't the best.
He shouldn't have been the wide receiver 1 out of the draft, though, for sure.
Nah, I think Gruden just loved that speed, and he's probably like, I got my next Tyreek Hill, which he might. Ruggs had a couple of nice bombs.
Yeah.
He just
has a lot of development to do.
Yeah, he's not there yet, but he's going to be there.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, so we're talking a little bit about other teams. I think one little thing I threw in that I think me and you could just throw out with wildcard weekend coming up. Now, for the first time, we have 2 triple headers back-to-back on a Saturday and Sunday for the playoffs. What's your early Super Bowl prediction? You don't got to give me a winner. What 2 teams you think are going to get there?
I think the Packers, and I still think nobody's beating the Chiefs. The Chiefs been actually they're the team this year to least cover the spread, actually, which is crazy for as good as they are. They just won a Super Bowl, though. You know what I mean? Like, when you win a Super Bowl, people are coming for your head.
And you still get the bye.
Yeah, and they still got the bye. So none of those spreads matter. That's just for benefit. But it's still, like, a thing. Like, people do look at that, and they're like, oh, well, they're not – I think the only team that poses a threat to them is really the Bills. You can say the Steelers. Steelers' offense is – buns.
Yeah, Steelers don't.
And the Ravens, they found sort of an identity with their run game, but Lamar is never going to win you a Super Bowl.
Mm-mm.
So
I wouldn't count the Titans out specifically just because of Derrick Henry, though.
I wouldn't count them out, but if Patrick Mahomes gets to play the Titans, he's going to light them up. Yeah,
well, they have to get past the Bills first, so I don't know if I could see the Titans getting past the Bills anyway at this moment with how hot the Bills are playing.
The Titans don't play the Bills. It's Colts, Bills.
Oh, Colts are playing the Bills.
I don't even think that's a lock for the Bills. I mean,
no, it's not. Their defenses are solid.
There's a ton of great games. Like, you got Rams, Seahawks in the NFC again. The only game that's really not an eye popper is obviously the
Washington
game and the Tampa Bay game.
I mean, my biggest thing, I don't think the Rams Seahawks might not be that great if Walford starts. Jared Goff might still be on the COVID list for the game, so Name of John Walford, I think.
Yeah,
He looked fine this past week. So
I was about to say, I think Goff's playing mind games, trying to like keep like maybe
not
like
prepare for him.
yeah, but Goff's gonna play, and I think the
Yeah.
Rams are gonna win because their defense is that good. I'll never count Russ out because he hasn't been good though. Russ hasn't been that good then this season.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at all.
Like you said, I mean, same thing. I have Chiefs over the Packers in the Super Bowl, but
I'm
I
gonna take
have
Packers over Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
okay. I would just have it's. I mean, to me, it was Chiefs and Bills and Packers and the Saints. I think the Saints might be the year that they get there, but I don't know. I think the Packers are just really hot right now, and I don't see any team
Saints
that
are
buy
good.
is huge. So
Saints are good though.
they are, and that's
They're like I feel
a
like people realize they're good, but like they're not like they've been balling all year. Like they dropped a couple games, but one was with Taysom Hill, and I forget what other games they dropped, but they made Tom Brady look foolish twice, especially the second time.
yeah,
They've been a good team this year. Their defense is good, but how good is it? You know what I mean? If it gets
exactly.
it's not it hasn't been tested really. So
Yeah. So, I mean, that pretty much covers everything that we can cover for this week. I think once we get this offseason is going to be a long offseason for the Eagles. We're going to have a lot to talk about for the Eagles. Sixers are just getting started. Flyers start up next week. And the Phillies are what I mean, one news article comes out for them a week right now. So, I mean, as that season
really.
don't even know when that season's going to start. So,
Padres though.
oh yeah, that starting rotation is the best in the MLB. So,
Yeah.
I mean, once again, I just want to throw that shout out Heart of Philly. Let us know, comment down on the bottom in our comment section. If you guys would like some merch, what do you think? What do you guys want? You think you want us to make hats, more shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeves? Let us know, because I mean, we don't like we said past episodes, like we don't really care too much about the following. Like we have fun just sitting here talking sports.
I mean, obviously
So,
we want to build it up, but
yeah, but I mean,
whoever
anything you guys
there's
want.
some devoted people out there listening.
Mm-hmm.
So those people that listen, I enjoy that you guys listen. You know, people give us feedback. Like I said before, Mr. Mott's out there. I don't know if he listens, but he's out there commenting on our stuff all the time. I know my guy Bill listens. I know my guy Squally listens. My guy Steve, the work driver, listens. I think CJ listens for the most part. So our girls listen. I think that's more by default, but no.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out to everybody that's been here with us each time. Once again, I hope everybody enjoyed their New Year's, their holidays, and let's get ready for 2021.
Sure.
City of Brotherly Love, episode 5.